Is whey protein worth it to build muscle? No. Short answer, no. Doing one leg squats, pull-ups, dips, push-ups, dips, pull-ups, elevated standing ab wheel to failure, eating beef, eggs, and apples. Just remove the fruit until next June. Good plan. You don't need whey protein. It's not. You need food. You don't just need protein. You need all the nutrients that come with protein. You need the fat and the cholesterol. Actually, there was a study that came out a couple of years ago that showed that dietary cholesterol had a direct effect on muscle growth and hypertrophy. Interesting. It could be hormonal. Could be that you need more cholesterol to build up bigger cell membranes, because if your muscle cells are growing bigger, that means that you have to add to that cell membrane, and that cell membrane is made of cholesterol. Could be. For whatever reason, dietary cholesterol seems to be important in muscle growth and development. And you get everything that you need from meat and eggs. So I think that's perfect. If you want more protein, eat more eggs, eat more beef, things like that. When Vince Gironda in the golden era of bodybuilding, before it just turned into these just roided out mass monsters that just don't even look human anymore. No offense to any of these guys, and it takes a huge amount of dedication and work and buckets of steroids to achieve that. But it's not what humans look like. It's not what humans are supposed to look like. When you have the golden era of bodybuilding, these guys just had some of the most amazing physiques ever. And they did it, with nutrition and hard work, and then the steroids added on to that. It just went, I think it honestly really damaged the sport significantly. But in any case, you don't need that stuff. And the whey protein, isn't as readily absorbed. It doesn't come with all the different nutrients that you need along with the protein, and you get it enough with all the beef and eggs. What I was going to say about Vince Gironda is he was saying when they would do a bulking phase, they would just eat way more eggs, like 30 plus eggs a day. And they said that actually gave a similar anabolic effect as low dose steroids, so, and it's a perfect protein, and they sort of rate and rank the different protein sources, single food protein sources. Eggs are number one. They are called a perfect protein. They have exactly the amino acids that you need in the exact proportion that you need them. And that's very important, having that proportionality. Because every molecule that your DNA makes is a protein. Not everybody realizes that. And so these amino acids, they're not calories. It's like, if you just needed them calories, then it wouldn't matter. You could just have all carbs. If all you needed was calories and just only carbs. No, you need amino acids because those are the building blocks. You need fatty acids because those are building blocks. You need cholesterol because that's a building block. Carbs, you don't need at all from a dietary source, because you make all the carbohydrates you need in the proportion that you need them. And you don't do that for proteins and fats, not all of them anyway. So every single molecule that your DNA makes and codes for is a protein. So it's strings of proteins, strings of amino acids. They make this big long chain of amino acids, and then they fold and bind in certain ways, and they're adding different subgroups and lipids and carbohydrates and other proteins and things like that onto it, and to make it into its final protein form. But it's all protein, it's all amino acids. So those amino acids get used as building blocks. They're not used as calories, predominantly, unless you're just not eating enough of other things, and then you have to sort of cannibalize those things to get energy. But that's not their main purpose. Their main purpose is structural components for the molecules that your body makes. And so you have to have these in proportion. So you have these massive proteins, hundreds of thousands of daltons. A dalton is the weight of a hydrogen proton, right? And so you have hundreds of thousands of proton equivalents and weighs, big molecules, right? So you need a lot of these things. If you're just low on even if you have everything else, but you're just low on lysine, it just stops right there. When you go up to making this big long chain of amino acids, you get to the lysine, you don't have it, it stops. Can't go any further. So it's not that it just shuts down production on every single protein that your body's making. You just don't have enough lysine. So you need the proportionality. It's not you just need you need X amount of grams of protein, whatever protein. No, you need the proportions. And so again, the plant versions of these things, they're not bioavailable. You can't get enough of them, and they don't have the right proportionality. And there's no single plant that has all the essential amino acids. And there are other conditionally essential amino acids such as carnitine and taurine that maybe people don't make enough of. Only 70% of people make enough carnitine, and they have to get, those 30% of people, 1/3 of the globe needs to get carnitine from a dietary source, and it does not exist in plants. Same with taurine. And if you're eating fiber, that can really screw up your taurine as well, because taurine is made in the liver, it's expressed in the bile, and then you absorb fat with that bile and you absorb the taurine at the same time. Whereas if you eat fiber, it binds to the bile and eliminates it. And people say, oh, that's so great, it lowers your cholesterol. You don't want to lower your cholesterol. It's what your body's made of. It's all your hormones are made of. What your brain is made out of. And you're going to lose your taurine as well. So you're going to get taurine deficiency. And especially if you're eating a whole bunch of nasty ass plants with a bunch of disgusting fiber that's bad for you. It's an anti-nutrient, and it blocks out the absorption of up to 30% of your nutrients, and it strips out other nutrients and bile. With taurine, you'll get deficiencies, and you'll get deficient in taurine because you're not getting in taurine from your diet, because you're not eating a lot of meat, and you're stopping your body from absorbing the taurine that you make in your liver and expressing your bile because you eat a whole bunch of horrible fiber. I mean, this is so much. There's so much evidence to show that this is just not good for us. We should not be eating fiber. It really disrupts our normal physiology, like taurine, the taurine absorption that we have to have.
Hey guys, just want to take a second to thank our sponsor, Carnivore Bar. I don't promote many products because honestly, all you need to be healthy is to just eat meat. For those times that you're out hiking, road tripping, or stuck at work and you want a nutritious snack that is just meat, fat, and salt if you want it, the Carnivore Bar is a great option. So I like this product not because it's just pure meat, but also because I want the carnivore market to thrive as well. And the more we support meat-only products, the more meat-only products there will be available in the mainstream. So if this sounds like something you'd like to get behind, check it out using my discount code Anthony to get 10% off, which also applies to subscriptions, giving you 25% off total. All right, thanks guys.
Whey protein in particular, while it can have a lot of the essential amino acids and in a better, much better form and proportionality and absorbability, bioavailability, it's it's an isolate, right? And so this is where sort of looking into this a bit. This is sort of where that rumor came from, that you can only absorb 25 to 40 grams of protein at one time. You just can't do any more than that. And so it's just like, it doesn't matter. You have like a big meal with a bunch of steak. Oh, you're just wasting that. You're just, not absorbing any of that protein. That doesn't make sense. You have lions that take down, big wildebeest, once a week, and then they gorge themselves on that carcass. They're only absorbing 40 grams of protein a week. Really? Probably not. The Mongols, Genghis Khan, the Mongol horde, these big burly bastards took over most of Asia and most of Europe, largest contiguous empires ever existed. They were carnivores, and they would often eat once every 5 days. They would just ravage the countryside for 5 days in a row. They don't have to cook fires, not be slowed down by all of a sudden. No one knew where they were coming from. Just bam, they just come in like a thief in the night and just blow away their enemies. And then they'd eat 10 pounds of horse meat in one go and do it again. All right, so they're only getting 40 grams of protein every 5 days? Probably not. So those came from studies with whey protein. And so you say, whey protein, you go in, they're only absorbing about 25 grams of the whey protein because it's an isolate and it just goes through. When you're eating meat, you're eating a whole food, it's not just the isolate that's just there and then gone. It's like liquid and it just goes through your small intestine too quickly to be absorbed. That's the key thing. There's a study that came out recently that people that eating over 100 grams or more of protein actually have a significant improvement in anabolic and hypertrophy results versus 25 grams. So that sort of blew out that idea that you can only absorb a certain amount at a time. I never bought that anyway. But those are the studies that came from whey protein. So you can only really absorb about 25 grams of protein from whey isolate or from these isolates. But if you're just eating meat or eggs, well, it takes your body time to break those things down and then draw those in. So it actually gives you time. It's like a time release capsule. So it's not just like quick and right through you. it's slow, and it's slowly like ebbing off some aminos, and you're absorbing it as it's breaking down. And then you get through the whole thing of it, and it's, and you can absorb that. So it gives your body time to absorb it, and you can absorb more at a go. If you wanted to take some whey protein, I mean, you can. I don't think you need it. You just eat more meat, eat more eggs. You'll get tons of protein. You get hundreds of grams of protein. If you're a big guy and eating a lot, you get hundreds of grams. You don't need to add in, a 25-gram scoop of whey protein or a 50-gram scoop of whey protein. You just don't need it. And you may not absorb it all that well either. You're going to absorb the meat and the eggs better, much better, and you're going to get the nutrients all with it. So that's right. And also, the whey protein always comes with like artificial sweeteners or even sugars and flavorings and all that sort of garbage. You just don't want any of that stuff. There are things that only have whey protein or only have beef isolate. Those are better, but again, you're still going to come into the not being able to absorb all that much of it and not getting all the nutrients that normally would come along with it. And you just don't need it. It's an added expense that you don't need. Just eat meat, eat eggs, cut that and ditch the apples, and you'll do great. You'll get plenty of protein. What your body does, I mean, my asthma like massively improved. I still have asthma, but it's exercise induced, and it's sort of a bit of a tightening. But it's not like it was. It's not even close to what it was when I was eating vegetables, filthy vegetables. But allergies to these sorts of things. I mean, that can be sort of a different kettle of fish.